what was it like visiting SBF for a second time? Because you had previously been with him on, I guess, the trading floor, right, with all of his super genius billionaire buddies.
Yeah, I went down to FTX's offices in the Bahamas in February and wrote a pretty positive story about FTX. Totally missed all the red flags. And so now I returned a couple weeks ago to try and figure out what really happened. And I really wasn't sure what to expect. Honestly, Bankman-Fried seemed quite similar to how he did the first time. I wasn't quite sure. It took me a while to figure it out. Like, was he delusional? I mean, his $32 billion exchange just blew up. But I realized that he was really on this kind of apology tour, and that he is pursuing this weird strategy of just instead of clamming up, just like talking so much about what happened to try and spread like his preferred version of it.
Right, and there's a line in here in which you talk about one of your interactions, and you ask him, you misplaced $8 billion, and he says almost proudly, misaccounted. Did you get the sense that he really firmly believed that this was just an oopsie in risk management, despite the fact that, as you point out in the story, he was an MIT grad, he was at Jane Street, a relatively prestigious Wall Street firm? I mean, this was a guy who was good with the numbers.
Right, he's like an expert trader. He majored in physics at MIT, but he's basically saying, like, if you want to believe his version of the story, you have to believe that he essentially forgot that people sent him $8 billion, then gambled it away unknowingly. And it's very hard to believe. I had trouble following his story, and once I figured it out, it didn't make much sense to me. This is clearly a guy who cares a lot about money, who thinks about it all the time. So the idea, even if it was to give it away, he still wanted to make his pile really big. The idea that he never took a minute to try and like count his money, figure out his company's accounting. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it just seems really implausible to me.
Yeah, he seems to have no aptitude at all for numbers in his in the last few interviews that I've watched. And it's odd that he's even giving interviews in the first place. Why do you think he continues to talk to the media so much while notably staying out of the U.S. jurisdiction when his lawyers must be telling him, stop talking?
You know, I think the media helped build him up to, played a big role in creating his image as like the only honest guy in crypto. And I don't think it's crazy that for him to think, hey, they helped me out on the way up. Now I can talk my way out of trouble. And he told me that when I asked him that he probably would testify before Congress. I'm surprised that he's not going to. Presumably he could even do it by Zoom. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there, because he's been talking to almost everyone who called, and it seems like he could just give them the same story that he's been telling the press.
All right, well, we'll see if he shows up. That hearing is a week from today, and we'll, of course, have full coverage of it here on Bloomberg Crypto.